Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Hello, thank you for watching my videos. It's Mike. It's February 21st, 2009. Okay, so I've had a complaint. Apparently some of my reports are getting longer and I'm covering too many stories. That's not to get, I'm not trying to suck people in. There's so much stuff going on. And one of the most important things is that everything is connected. If you can't see the connections between the stories, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to spell everything out for you. Now, one of the news stories I mentioned yesterday was about Anglo American. Very quickly I went past it saying their stock was falling dramatically. And they were a mining company. Well, I thought I would dive a little more deeply into Anglo American. Anglo American is a mining company, and they're cutting 19,000 jobs worldwide. Okay, so they're closing mines everywhere. Now, why are they closing mines? Now, what kind of mines are they closing? Well, basically, 9,000 in Anglo Platinum in South Africa. Some other mines are going to be closing because of the sharp falls in copper, nickel, zinc, and lead prices. Okay, now, platinum. What's platinum used for? The biggest consumer of platinum is the automotive industry. This is what the catalytic converter is made out of. So, if you have a car you're going to be scrapping, by the way, for whatever reason, because you can't afford to run it anymore, chop the catalytic converter off. That's worth something. The platinum in there is actually worth quite a lot of money. Yeah, the guys at the scrapyard won't tell you that. They'll just say, oh yeah, we're not even getting $5 a pound for this junk now. Anyway, but I digress. The other thing, of course, was copper, zinc, nickel, and lead. What are those used for? Okay, well, zinc is used for stainless steel, for instance. Copper. Yeah, copper. Copper is an interesting little metal. Now, it used to be that a lot of pipes, plumbing pipes, were made out of copper, but they've done away with that and now make them out of plastic. Plastic is cheaper and it's much easier to work with. So, what's copper used for? Well, copper is one of the most basic conductors of electricity. It's used in pretty much everything that's manufactured. There's no demand for copper right now because there is no manufacturing right now. At the moment, the stocks are building up worldwide. I've got an article linked here. Copper heads for second weekly drop as global inventories grow. Now, basically the London metal exchanges have a whole bunch of repositories all over the world for storing copper. Make it easier to sell it and so forth. At the moment, they have 528,250 metric tons of copper in storage, just piling up. And there's been reports that China has about 300,000 tons of copper stacked up. And people have stopped buying it. And the copper price is starting to decline. So if you want to make some money, you can try shorting copper. It's probably going to drop quite a bit. There's a good reason for this. Very good reason for this. Nobody's using the stuff in manufacturing. So, yeah, last year they had a deficit of something in the order of 110,000. Let me just pull it up here. Something in the order of 110,000 tons of copper was in deficit. Let me just find it here. Yeah, 119,000 ton deficit in 2007. There was a surplus of 329,000 tons in 2008. At the moment, they've got somewhere between 500 and 800,000 tons of copper. What does this indicate to you? Okay, well, there's platinum. Nobody's buying it. So that means your car industry is gone. Won't be back for a while. Copper is declining. Now, copper has a really weird behavior. And I've linked an article to the India Daily. Now, it's the only one I could find that explained it reasonably easily. And it's not entirely correct, but it's close enough for government work, as they say. Copper stockpile cycles indicate collapse in copper prices and start of global depression. Now, basically, this little article here has a theory that, if the copper stockpiles follow a 6 to 8 year cycle, and they go up and then they go down as demand increases again. Now, at the moment, the stockpiles are shooting up through the roof. The only time they've ever been this high was in the 50s. Because basically manufacturing in the States, I don't know, some weird numbers. In the 50s it was just going all over the place. But basically since the 30s, every time there's been a spike in the stockpile of copper, there's been a corresponding recession or depression immediately following. And depending on the size of the spike up in the stockpile, relative to, because it constantly increases anyway, because people recycle, the longer and deeper the recession that follows. So you want an indicator of what's going to happen? It's not going to be nice. So, watch copper. I give it most of March. It's going to be, you know, somewhere around about $1.40, $1.30 kind of area for a pound of copper. But it's going to start dropping, and as soon as it gets near $1, you know things are in trouble. Okay, a couple of other articles just quickly before I finish this off. Aluminium is also piling up. Something on the order of 1.2 million tons of aluminum, or aluminium, depending on your particular persuasion, is piling up in various stockpiles around the world as well. And of course, both copper and aluminum are used for, they're primarily used for their electrical uses. Okay, United Today Fall, post-communist states pull EU into the red. Very interesting article. Latvian Prime Minister quits because of economic crisis. Okay, so the Latvian government has collapsed. This was a coalition government. You may remember that there were riots in Latvia directed primarily at the parliament because they didn't know what they were doing and couldn't figure things out. Well, that government has now collapsed, and who knows what's going to happen there. That's going to take down all kinds of things as that goes. And finally, a couple other articles. This financial crisis is now truly global. So if you hadn't figured this out yet, there's a great article that lists off how the financial crisis is impacting all over the world, and people just are not getting it. By the way, another bank has fallen in the States. Yep, that'd be the 14th this year. I've included a link to the FDIC website for the press release for the latest one, which was the Silver Falls Bank, Silverton, Oregon. But there's the full list is also available there. You can see all 14 of the banks, and in fact, one of the banks, nobody wanted to acquire it. So FDIC is just paying everyone their deposits. And of course, that's just since the beginning of the year. We're not counting about the ones that fell since Lehman Brothers went. So, and finally, remember Reinhardt? Reinhardt's cryptic picture of a 7 on top of a light, and something's happening at GE, General Electric. GE shares touch a new annual low. I think GE's going. Be careful, folks. Peace, love, understanding. Think about things. I don't always spell it out.